Here is our row of tomato plants, and what we've done this year to support them is to run a string down to the tip of the tomato plant, and then we tie it up to a wire, and this way we will support it and keep it up off the ground. And so we have 32 tomato plants. This is where I used to have a trellis. So I already had the posts in place, and I took the trellis down and planted the tomatoes, and we had the wires already up. And so I used garden twine and pulled each tomato plant up off the ground. Well, they weren't really on the ground, but now they will be kept from falling over. Also, I removed the bottom leaves off of each tomato plant, so that way we can cut down on the soil-borne diseases. So they've been trimmed, and you can take off the leaves up until you get to the fruit. So that should help keep out diseases. Another thing that we're doing this year for the first time is we're using compost tea. And Elliot Coleman, in his book titled Four Season Harvest, says that compost tea will create a biofilm on the undersides and tops of the leaves on the foliage, and it will stop blight. So we're trying that. It will also provide nutrition and more microbes for each plant, which will give more nutrition. So as you can see, there's our full range of tomato plants. I planted more cherries because cherry tomato plants are supposed to be more resistant to blight. And I've also heard that a healthy plant can resist the blight. So we're trying to fight it this year and use our cultural practices. We have used straw to mulch around each tomato plant, and then we have a soaker hose that runs at the bottom of the plants to provide moisture. So that should help cut down from overhead spraying, which is one way to cause more disease in your plants. So each one has a string that runs up and gets tied. And then we can adjust it as the tomato plant grows. And we just found a spot on the tomato plant and attached it. And we've got flowers, and we hope to get a good little crop of tomatoes. Here you can see we have flowers. And we've also used feed bags along the walkway to cut down on the weeds, and it's for weed suppression. Here we've got some nice big flowers on this German Johnson tomato plant. I like to plant heirlooms. We like the taste and we like to save our seed, but we do have a few hybrids in here, and some of them are cherry tomato hybrids. So we have about 32 tomato plants in these two rows. And we're using garden posts like this into the ground, and also T-posts. So this is our main setup for the tomatoes, and we'll see how it goes this year. I have noticed a little bit of blight on one or two plants, not in this row, but if we step over here, this little coyote tomato plant, this is a blighted tomato, so we know we've already got some issues. And I'll probably be pulling this one out today. And beside it we have a nice healthy tomato plant. Healthy, blighted. Healthy. And then down the road we have another healthy one, and it's starting to get some leaf wilting down at the bottom. That's one reason why we try to take off the leaves down at the base of the tomato plant. Here's another healthy one. And here's another healthy tomato plant. So we'll see how things go down this aisle. These are volunteers that came up. They are a cherry tomato that a friend gave me. And about 200 of the plants popped up in my corn. So I've been able to give away all the tomato plants. I have kept a row of them here. And they were able to produce when everything else was being lost to the blight. So if all else fails, I do have these that will produce some tomatoes for us. There's 10 or 12 of them going down this row. So that is how we are trying our tomatoes this year. I thought I might even plant in straw bales to get around this early blight. And that is our tomato aisle and what we're doing this year in tying them up and supporting them.